AITA for not bringing a birthday cake for my nephew? I, 24F, am a baker. I've started baking since high school and have been making birthday cakes for my family. It was a good way to let people know I bake, to get feedback and to experiment. Thanks to that, I've gotten a few cake orders from my relatives and friends. After high school, I've gone to culinary school and have been working professionally since. I've made birthday cakes for my sister, her husband, her 3 kids, my parents every year, excluding a couple years in between when I was abroad. I didn't charge them anything as it was a present from me. These custom cakes normally cost around $200,250. This year on my birthday I didn't have anything planned. Didn't remind anyone that it was coming up. I was hoping at least one of them would remember and surprise me with something. But when I asked my mom if she bought a cake for me, she thought I would bake a cake for myself. On my birthday, I was hurt. I didn't make cakes wanting to get anything in return, but I realized I was being taken for granted. After a few months it was my nephew's 7th birthday. This time I decided to not bring a cake and instead bought him a toy he wanted. When I got to my sister's house, she asked me where the cake was. I told her I didn't bring one. She got mad at me, saying that she expected me to bring a cake and didn't order one from a shop. I told her that it wasn't my problem. She could have asked me and ordered one from my bakery. My nephew was crying that he didn't have a cake and my sister blamed me for making him sad on his birthday. After the birthday party, I had numerous relatives making me seem like the bad guy and ruining the party. When I talked to my friends and coworkers about this, they were on my side. I'm not sure how I feel. NTA. If no one had even asked you to bring a cake, I don't see how this is your fault. Sounds like a few people in your family are being entitled brats. Not the nephew. Also, that sucks that you were expected to produce your own birthday cake. Rough. NTA. They assumed you would make a cake and didn't bother to confirm you were actually making one. I would stop altogether baking for family unless asked and paid. No more freebies. Tell your family that you are no longer baking for free. Do people communicate in your family? How does the topic of a birthday cake for a child not come up from your sister? Oh yeah, I know. Entitlement. You were being taken for granted. Don't feel bad for other people's delusions. Your family doesn't reciprocate what you do for them. NTA. Edit. I'm seeing people say op is the because of the expectation she set by making cakes for family members in the past, and also that she punished her nephew by not making the cake. I disagree with this point because op indicated that she takes orders for custom cakes for family. And in this case her sister did not request a cake, or even discuss it with op. And op did not punish her nephew. Especially since she got her nephew a present he wanted, which is more than she got for her own birthday. Op's sister deserves all the blame for poor planning. 100%. If it were my kid and my sister usually brought the same thing year after year, I'd still ask if they were going to, because that's the reasonable thing to do when planning an event. I'd feel differently if Op hinted at making a cake. But that isn't what it says in the post. Her family feels entitled to Op's hard work by suggesting either of these things. It confirmed all her suspicions. NTA. It's very weird to me that she just assumed you would bring the cake. Even if you are normally the family cake baker, I'm assuming there is usually at least some conversation in advance to talk about what the person wants. Birthday cakes are really important to kids that age, so his parents should have been on top of it. InTA. They're taking you for granted. They could have at least asked you about the cake beforehand. You don't owe them anything. NTA. They didn't even talk to you about what kind of cake he might like. Just tell them you brought the same kind of cake they all brought for your birthday. Air cake. For real, though. You're a busy person. People suck. And they shouldn't assume. I once offered a month in advance to order a cake for my niece's birthday. Since they were coming from out of town, my brother and Sil didn't answer. So I figured they made another plan. Then they told our sister 3 days before the party that I was bringing the cake. If my sister hadn't told me, I never would have known. And then who would look like the big jerk? Did I mention that people suck? NTA. I'm not sure if ESP is a hereditary thing. But how on earth could your sister be upset with you not doing something that wasn't asked of you? Being taken for granted is one thing. But to just expect it to happen without even asking is another. NTA. She had no right to just assume you would be making one. Even if you normally do. It's not your responsibility to make sure he had a cake. That was also not very nice for your parents to think you would make your own cake. That's just lazy on their part. Why should you do all the work on your birthday? I would be upset, too. 1 year on my birthday, my dad told me he had a B-Day card for me and to drive over and just let myself in their house and grab it when they weren't home. Like seriously? Everyone wants to feel special on their birthday. They should have put in effort. NTA. You don't have to gift a cake if you don't want to. Their assumption that you would, without any evidence or confirmation, certainly affirms that they are taking the cakes for granted. They made their son sad by not making sure there would be a cake. Any of the people complaining could have asked you or provided a cake themselves. You gave a gift. That it wasn't the gift they wanted you to give is not your problem. You gave the gift you wanted to give. A toy you knew he wanted. Don't make any more cakes for ingrates. You had to start somewhere. If it wasn't your nephew's birthday, it would have been someone else's and people would still have berated you. Just make an announcement that you will not keep making free cake anymore. Everyone should understand. NTA. Your entire family are a bunch of entitled cake diggers. So none of them care about your B-Day but expect you to whip up a cake worth hundreds just whenever? Your sister ruined her nephew's birthday, not you. Obviously NTA. Don't be their cake slave. NTA. It's not your duty to provide the cake. Especially without being asked to do so. Making cakes is hard work. So expecting one for free also isn't fair. How would they feel if they were expected to work for free all the time? Info. Since it seems to be your thing to bring a cake to all family birthdays, did you mention to anyone after your birthday that you were no longer to be counted on for cakes? Was there any other function between your birthday, nephew's birthday, which you brought one to? However, even if you had not, I find it a bit entitled to just expect a cake. If I have a family member who normally contributes X, Y or Z to a party, family function, I always check beforehand it is still okay to do so. Expecting someone to turn up with $1, $200, $250 contribution without even clarifying it beforehand is insane. Did your sister not even discuss this with you beforehand? No discussion of what she was planning on, theme for the cake, numbers she was catering for. What would have happened if you turned up with a cake that was too small for the number of people she invited? NTA. And I'm on your side. But maybe a heads up that the free cake train is over would have been nice for the nephew's sake. Screw all the adults involved. InTA. However, I think this was a good lesson to learn. Keep giving free stuff, and it'll just be expected. Your family was absolutely taking advantage of you. So, going forward, I would send everyone a message that if they want a cake from you, they can pay you the normal rate. And if they don't like it, then that's their problem. Your time should never have been free. But Being a professional in the industry myself, I 100% understand your sentiment. I've had family friends ask me to help them cater parties, and as soon as I tell them, sure, my rate is $20 per hour plus the cost of food and any extra hands I need, they immediately drop it. NTA. You're not responsible for every cake for every function. It's great that you've been willing to do it, but it shouldn't be expected. It also seems like your family doesn't contribute for ingredients, which can be expensive. I'd set a boundary. I'm willing to make it if you cover ingredients, but after nobody wanted to get me a cake for my birthday, I refuse to give you my work for free. NTA. Very entitled and stupid of them to just assume. They're definitely taking you for granted. NTA. You're being taken advantage of by your own family. From now on, tell them if they expect a cake they need to order in advance and pay for it. NTA. I cannot get behind the ESH votes. Your sister never asked for a cake. As the parent, it is her responsibility to ensure cake happens. She didn't. She assumed you'd bring a cake. But instead, you brought your nephew a toy. It's really easy to just run out and buy a cake from a store. You didn't punish your nephew in any way. And he probably got a cool toy out of it.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.